Warzone ruled.
Okay. All right.
Warzone is really fun. Okay, so Warzone is one of the modes. I don't know if they gave us a tally of the total multiplayer modes that are going to be available in Halo 5 Guardians.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is one of them. So Warzone is a giant environment that you are trying to control. I was on the red team. I was trying to take them blues out, and this was I don't remember the name of the map. I actually have information here. Hold on, let me bring up my. I think I wrote down what the name of the map was, and then I was just too busy actually playing Warzone.
Ooh, look how smooth. We got a good frame rate here.
So yeah, they're taking a little bit from everything. There's a little bit of Titanfall in here because there is AI. So these little guys that we're looking around, most of these guys are AI driven. And these guys are going to spawn from locations that you currently control. So you start off with your own little base, and you control that base.
Okay.
And then there's the enemy base, and they control that. And then there's one, possibly more, structures in between those two areas. And as you run through these structures, you'll bump into these, red or blue enemy guys that are running around, that are just shooting guys. And these guys are pretty formidable. I don't know if they had the difficulty turned up, but like if two of these guys got the drop on me, like I'd be in trouble. Like I would actually have to like find cover. One of these guys you could probably take down by yourself with, not a lot. If you're like a seasoned Halo player, you're probably not gonna have a problem with one of these. And so you run through, and basically what you want to do, there's two ways you can win Warzone, at least two. One of them is to just get 1,000 points, period. First person to 1,000 points wins the whole thing. And you get points from everything. You get points from securing areas. You get points from killing enemies, whether they're actual players or whether they're just dudes running around. You probably get points for other random things that I was not paying attention to.
I like this ship. Look at this thing.
If you control a dominant or up to a certain percentage of the map, if you dominate it, then, or maybe just all of the bases, if you actually control them, then it will open up your enemy's core, which is like a little energy source, like within their base. It'll open up, and then you destroy that thing and you take it down.
Whoa.
So, if you lose, then like all hands, back at base, and then you can actually, if you're good at this game, you can make a push to like get people out of your base and then reclaim some more of the map. My favorite thing about this is there are reclamation stations. I don't know if that's exactly what they call it. I think they're like rec stations or something like that.
I like reclamation station,
of course. You can maybe see one of these things pop up. They have a little green HUD. There's little terminals that you can walk around. Rec terminals, maybe they call them. There's one, that little green icon on the side there.
Get to the rec terminal. Oh, we died.
And if you walk up to one of those, you can spend a currency that you accrue throughout the match, and you can get weapons, or you can get vehicles, or you can get maybe other mods and stuff like that you can pick up. But weapons and vehicles are the big thing. Obviously, the cooler ones are way more expensive. So, and when you die, you can also choose when you come back to instantly have one of those things. So when you're dying and you're waiting to respawn, give you like 10 seconds to respawn, it kind of like gives you an automatic rec menu where you can bring up and be like, okay, when I come back, I want to have an energy sword or a rocket launcher, or I want to be in a ghost. And then it'll respawn you and you're automatically in that.
I'm sorry, what's the currency for that?
You just slowly build it as you kill people and do good things in the environment.
So it's the same currency I'm trying to build to 1,000 I'm spending?
No, this is your own personal currency.
Got it.
I think it's real short. I think like 10 is the max number of points that you can possibly get.
Okay.
So you're cashing those 10 points immediately on the coolest thing that you can get, which would be not a ghost. The ghosts are little guys running around. Not sparrows, but what are the flying dudes in Halo?
I think those are ghosts.
The ghosts are the hover
Banshees.
Banshees. So Banshee is like the coolest thing that you can get. These mechs, that I don't know if you've seen them. There's like little walker mechs.
I don't like the walker mech. I gotta be honest.
Are a step up from a ghost. I was really gratified at one point because I took down one of these walker guys with a ghost because I was just like strafing around him so fast.
Love
ghosts.
ghosts.
Time to like catch up and take me out.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, if you die and you look and you have like 4 points, you're like, I'm gonna save it. I'm going to run through, try to get some more points this time, and then the next time I can get to a station or the next time I die, I'm going to bring in one of these big mechs. And the cool thing is it's not like Titanfall where like one of these things drops in the environment and you got to get to it and somebody else can steal it. It spawns you at a very specific spot in this vehicle. So if you like go to a station, you buy a ghost, it ports you right into the garage, you pop up out of the garage with the ghost, you shoot right out into the battlefield, and then you're in. So I really liked the concept of, because a lot of like item requisition in multiplayer matches in Halo was most of the time based on if you just knew where that rocket launcher was, and if you got lucky that no one had picked it up in the last 5 minutes.
Yes.
Or if you just knew generally where these locations would be on the field where you'd be able to get these items. And now it's like there are no locations. The coolness of your item is based on whether you kill the guy that just dropped it in front of you and you managed to pick it up.
Okay.
Or if you save up enough points, you're like, I want to buy the rocket launcher. It was just so gratifying to like save up for that rocket launcher, spend it, walk out of my base, have a ghost go right by it. I'm like, nope, get out of our base, and take the guy out. And got absolutely destroyed. Only played one match. I think we had like 560 points when the enemy team managed to get to 1,000.
Oh, it's bad.
And we
It's a
lost
bad
instantly. Because it was only really until about the halfway point that I'm like, I get it. But to me, I think the most successful thing about this mode
This thing is weird, by the way. Did you get in one of these?
I did not save up to get in one of these, unfortunately. I apologize. But I think the coolest thing about this mode for me is how easy you access all of this cool stuff within Halo, and this kind of give and take, between saving up for something or just spending it to get that like moderate item every single time, so you can be like one step ahead of the curve. Or as I mentioned, just like saving it for a couple minutes and then like going all in on one really cool thing. And the potential of you buying that really cool thing and then just turning the corner and walking right into 5 warthogs. You're like, oops.
No, that'll happen.
I spent all that and it just, luck did not work out for me.
So like, how much is a sniper rifle? Would that be 1 point?
No, that would probably be like 2 or 3 points.
Okay.
And you can see really easily, you can check at any time, like how many points do I have? If I was to get to a station, what could I buy at this point? And there are Destiny
there it is.
style.
This is that kind of. There's the menu right there.
Yep. So he just went and he was waiting to respawn, and then boom, he just respawned.
And they actually call it level instead of points.
And Destiny style, Bungie making something and then 343 picking it back up from Bungie. There are random enemies that will pop up in the environment, and they will tell you, they'll be like, Skarg the Unburnt has shown up, and then like this will be a random guy that'll show up maybe with some friends around him, and then if you kill him, you get points. If you and like a buddy might be like, let's do it, let's go take this guy.
That's MOBA style for
and
sure.
It's literally just that last shot takes the kill. So there was one time where like me and another guy, like he was in a big mech and I was in a ghost, and we were both like whittling this guy's down health, and he just managed to get the last shot and took the kill and got the points for it. But it was close.
Yeah, that's MOBA. That's MOBA for you.
There's so many things going on. Like it's a lot of times, like in Halo, not a lot of times, but like it would happen that I would be playing a Halo multiplayer match, and it would be tough for me to like get to where the action was or really feel relevant. Like then I was just like, okay, I was able right after I respawned to just jump right back where I needed to be. I knew where I needed to be. I knew where the action was. I knew that like that spot. Like if you're on Sidewinder, it's like, where are we? Are they up there? Should I get in a vehicle, go around the corner? Like yeah, I want to be selfish, and like it's kind of hard to be selfish because you're not. If you take a vehicle, you're not stealing that vehicle that just spawned in front of the base, and now we can't get to that. You spent your own points on that vehicle, and now you're using it.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
So it's not like even in Battlefield, it was always frustrating when like, oh, cool, helicopter spawn, and some like jerkwad would get into it before you would crash it immediately. And you're
That's
like,
me,
thanks.
man.
Me, yeah.
Yeah, I confess, those helicopters are hard to control.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like this just like sensory overload. Every time you would walk out into the environment being like, what do I want to do? Do I want to go after that guy that just spawned on the map and see that boss and see if I can take him down and get some points for my team? Do I really want to find out where the bulk of my team is and kind of join this big firefight? Do I want to whittle down some of these guys and some players from afar, maybe with a sniper rifle, so I can build enough points to then spend on the map on the next run around?
Yeah, that's me.
Or do I just want to, run around, shoot stuff? Do I just want to anytime you see, like I was in the red team, anytime I saw anything blue, pew, 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 I'm having a good time.
So the only time I can spend money before dying is at those terminals, correct?
If you walk up to a terminal and access it, or you can do it from the respawn screen.
How many are there on the map?
I think there were like 2 or 3 within the base that I was in, and then maybe like a dozen total on the map.
Because that's what's funny to me, Brandon, is
it's
that
not too close that you can just grab one right away, but close enough that if you know the map and you know where they are, you're never too far from one if you make that decision.
It sounds like you're kind of encouraged to die in order to get new weapons. You're like, okay, I'm ready for my weapon, time to die.
Yeah, you're not encouraged to die, but there is a flow to it. So like when you get, and it's an interesting like evaluation of the performance you just did. So if you like bought something, if you bought a rocket launcher, and then you go in and you're tearing it up, and then you die, and then you go back to the item screen, and not only can you buy another rocket launcher, but you've earned enough points with that rocket launcher to buy the next best thing.
Yeah.
And you can maybe have that momentum of constantly getting better stuff because you're making the most of this, whether it's a cool weapon or a cool item.
So wait, you don't lose points if you die or anything?
You lose points when you spend. So if it's like 5 points for a rocket launcher, I spent all those in a rocket launcher, I go back to 0. But I kick so much ass with that rocket launcher that I'm getting points back, so that when I eventually die, you can never die, potentially. You can run into this thing and be earning points the whole time and then just keep going to those stations and getting more stuff. And keep in mind, you unlock these things, so if you're communicating with your base and you have a guy or you respawn in a base and like, you know what, I have so much cool stuff, I don't really need these points. I can buy a Warthog, warp into it, drive it out, park it, get out, and then one guy from my team can jump in there. So you can buy something for someone else, but if you want to keep it, they give it to you right away. But if you know guys, like if you really know people on your team, like these are all your friends, you could just destroy this mode, man. I mean, if you're really communicating and really talking about like where stuff is, that classic League of Legends communication. And
hey, what's the deal with that slide?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of crazy movement options that they've added. to the game.
Go on.
Yeah, the sprinting and all that stuff. They talked about that. I actually can't speak to that. Because,
So that's in the beta and everything. The sliding. I don't know what to think about a slide. That's probably because you can do crazy stuff in like Call of Duty going prone. Maybe that's the idea is lower your hitbox.
And it just felt like a battlefield. It did not feel like a multiplayer video game match that I was having. It felt like this battlefield that I was at in Halo. That I think Titanfall, had in some of its best moments. That like, this is just bonkers carnage. I just said bonkers for like the 5th time in the last hour, but
Nobody minds.
I played lots of bonkers things yesterday.
Yeah.
Bonkers bad fur day. Speaking of Xbox, but
This is how that